red bottom sky.
I wasn't expecting to really like have any thoughts to kind of make this review substantial, but I ended up like kind of having something to say about the new Young Lean album, Stranger. I said all that because I've never really been a Young Lean fan. I've always found, you know, some of the production kind of atmospheric and cloudy and kind of endearing, but there's just so little in the way of vocal charisma. And I get that's the point, but like I just can't get into Unknown Death 2002. However, last year he released a banger of a track called Hoover. I love that track. That really slaps. That really does slap. But the rest of the album was boring, so what do you know? Stranger, on the other hand, does some new things, and I think he kind of does them better than I kind of expected. So yeah, even though I've never been a Young Lean fan, I can still appreciate some of the things that go on during Stranger. For one, while he does kind of have those usual trap rap songs that are cloudy, like Skimask, which I have to admit is my least favorite on here because it is just so run-of-the-mill, I think some of the more interesting cuts are the ones where he's kind of singing and doing these like cloudy R&B ballads where he's kind of trying to hold a melody. He can't really do it that well. And I wish he could, because if he could, some of these ballady type tracks could come off a lot better and sound really pleasant, such as Red Bottom Sky, which I have to say has a gorgeous instrumental. Very wispy, very windy, and sounds like you are floating in the clouds, but just there's like a tinge of darkness to it. And this issue kind of carries on throughout the record. For the most part, I was kind of considering, you know, I wouldn't like this in the end, but there are two tracks at the end that made this kind of worthwhile for me because they are genuinely good. They're not perfect. I still think those singing issues kind of take place here, but Agony and Yellowman at the very end of the record are quite gorgeous, like all the way through. Agony has these beautiful warped pianos that give it kind of a twisted Caretaker-esque kind of vibe that sounds very warped and kind of demented a little bit, but in a soothing and tranquil kind of way. And I think Young Lean singing is a little bit better than usual. And Yellowman continues that with another very beautifully atmospheric track. I think that even though this album doesn't carry its own fully, I think it is one of the more endearing projects from Young Lean so far, and it's actually one that I think shows like a little bit more potential in Young Lean as an artist. You know, I can kind of respect the fact that he has kind of paved a little bit of a path, not only for himself, but for a lot of other artists who have kind of approached the cloudy R&B, trap, rap sort of thing, but here he's actually trying a lot of new things, and although they don't always hit, and some even kind of flop, some of them actually kind of, you know, poke through with a little bit more potential than usual. So even though 5 out of 10 might not seem like the most positive score, it's positive for what I've kind of experienced from Young Lean so far, so that's cool.